and welcome to my little craft corner. I am Tabby and today I want to do ABC April. That's a challenge that Seven Plaza and Crafty by Tony came up with. And as far as I know, they also did it last year, so ABC April 2025. And for this year they came up with it again. And since I am a person who is not really good at crafting with given prompts, I wanted to try this challenge because it only gives you a letter per day. So you or I am more free to create whatever I want to. So it's not like envelope or like packaging paper. It's just a letter. So I think that might be a little bit easier for me. And since it is today, Tuesday, the 7th of April, I will do the letter F. And as far as I planned, I want to continue the whole month to be part of this challenge. And since I post my English videos on Tuesday and on Fridays, I will be in for F, I, L, O, R, U, X, and of course Z is ending on Thursday, but I wanted to do that too, so I will do 2 videos each week from now on with ABC April. So if you want to follow along this challenge, you can use or search for the hashtag ABC April, and I think even if you want to create something, you can post the hashtag ABC April 2026. And of course, I will link down these 2 channels, Seven Plaza and Crafty by Tony. And here you can see when they will do their postings for this challenge. So I think let's get started with my project that I wanted to do today. So what I came up with for F is Fantasy Forest. And what I want to do is to create like a little forest. So I chose some watercolor paper and I will play with my distress stains and maybe some watercolor. So it should be more like an abstract forest, so to say. I will also use some stencils, I think. And I want to have some mushrooms on here, like if this would be my forest, you would have these like giant mushrooms, what would be kind of the fantasy element. And I had a few to choose from. And I already cut out this lovely couple of club borders, I think they're also called in English. Yeah, so these will be more like my fantasy element, so it's not like a high fantasy thing. But yeah, just with some fantasy elements. Okay, I've got a selection of paints I might or might not use for this one. And I will use my pencil, so not directly spraying it on my paper. And before I will go on with some paint, I will just wetten my paper a lot with just some water. I just got a few colors here, and now, as I said, we'll wet my paper because I want to run it a little bit in one another. And as you can see, while I sprayed my paints, I already got some color on my paper. So I think I might start with, let's start with some yellow. Just move it a little bit. So, and I will have the yellow more at the top. And now the paper warps, but since it is, I think it is a 300 GSM paper, it will flatten out later because it can handle the paint. So I just want to create a little bit like a background of a forest, not really detailed, but more playing with the colors of a forest. That was my initial idea. Oh yeah, that's okay. So to be honest, since I'm not really good at painting and drawing and things like that, so I don't really now know how this will turn out. So I just wanted to play a little bit with paint. Okay, this is ice spruce. I had to check the color again. I also think I just need more color. So yeah, it's a little bit like an experiment, so to say. Okay, this is what I want. Okay, more of a flow. Maybe some brushes over here. And I also had my first try today to create that, or to be honest, 2 of them, and yeah, one of them was okay, one of them was like, yeah. So I hope this one will be a little bit better. Okay. More green. Yeah. So it's more like having different plants envision that would grow over here. So yeah, that's a little bit of my idea, I think. Okay. So I think I have a little bit more paint over here. Okay. I think I'm fine with that. And of course now I have to let it dry. While my paint is drying, I want to create some mushrooms. I already showed you these that I just cut out of a Reader's Digest book that I might use. But I also wanted to create it, I also wanted to create some mushrooms out of scraps. So I just prepared a few. And all I did was just taking some scrap pieces of paper and just cut out these stems and the little heads of the mushroom, and you can combine them as you want to. Having a little bit more smaller mushroom, you have a taller one, and of course you can also adjust these stems and heads for the size. So yeah, so I basically took a piece of paper, just took a few scraps, my scissors, and let's create like a smaller stem and just cut them out like this. Some might be a little bit bigger, some a little bit smaller. Or let's cut another head out of some book pages. So I just took some scraps. Doesn't matter. And see? Now we have... So for this one that might be a little bit small, for this one a little bit tall, so I would create another stem. Let's see, I think that size might be great. And they could also be a little bit wonky, because they never grow completely straight, right? And maybe let's create a smaller. For example, this one might fit on here. So I'm just doing these little mushrooms. And the nice thing about those is you don't have to really think about it. Just cut it out and you can use up your scraps too. Maybe for this one. Maybe I have to create a little bit of a taller head for this one over here. Might be okay to do it like that. See? So I think it's a great way to use up your scraps. So that's just an idea if you don't have any mushrooms to cut out, or you're not good at drawing, for example. It is just a nice way to use up scraps and to create a few mushrooms. And all I want to do is now to ink them up, or just ink up a few of them. That I might want to use. Maybe I want to use the smaller one, but the stem is a little bit big. Like this. Yeah, why not? So that's just an easy way to create some mushrooms. I will just ink them up now, and I might combine them with these mushrooms that are cut out. And yeah, when I ink them up, I just will glue them down on the top of the stem. And the only thing that you have to keep in mind is glue it down not too far on the top of the stem, otherwise it would just look like a head or whatnot. But glue it down a little bit more like this. So go a little bit deeper, and it looks like a little mushroom. And you can do it however you want to, so could be straight, could be a little wonky. Yeah, so these are our mushrooms. So I just chose these mushrooms for today and will prepare the other ones. And of course you can go like with hundreds of them. Just use up your scraps. So now we have our clapboarder couple over here. And what I want to do is, if this is dry, this will be on top. And then you fold it open and have this couple underneath. And back here, this should be a writing space later on. So I will back this one, or this part. But now we have to... Yeah, I just took a... Maybe I don't know. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit concentrated and focused because it is a little bit out of my comfort zone with a little bit of doing with the color like this. And yeah, it is a project that I wouldn't do every day, so I'm a little bit more focused and sometimes I just forget to explain and speak. I am sorry. So I just want to get this book page that I just printed with a, I don't even know from which digital it was. But yeah, I just printed it with a digital, and I just want to cut it to size. So it is the same size as my watercolor paper over here. And you can do it again, as I always tell you, the size doesn't matter. You can do it however big and tall you want to. And I just tear my paper down. Of course, this paper should be the background for my clabouters. And first of all, yeah, I wanted to do a fantasy forest, but I didn't want to do it like high fantasy with elves and whatnot. But these cute clabouters are a little bit of my childhood memory with a TV series that was called David the Gnome. Yeah, so I chose those. Okay, I'm not sure if I want to lift them up a little bit. No, I think I will lift them down. Yeah, I just will glue them down here and then maybe have a white outline so they pop a little bit more from the background. Because I thought this background might match nicely with this one. Okay, I can see, of course, I didn't do the measurement in the height. And it's better to have it a little bit smaller than taller than your fold out page, I think. But you can cut it down later on a little bit. Yeah, so I now will glue it down. And of course, since I used so much water on here, it takes forever to dry. But that should be our advantage for another step that I will show you next. Oops. See? That's cute. Okay, that's nice. So let's come back to this one. It is still not dry, but I want to use some Distress ink ground espresso to ink all around it. And since it is not dry, the ink will react with the water a little bit, so it bleeds the tiniest bit in the image, and that's a nice effect. See, especially here, how it bleeds in. Yeah, so I like it. I think I want to do a little bit more here on the background since it is dry-ish now. So now I got out my watercolor. I'm a little bit afraid that I will mess it up now. But it should. I want to have like. And let's say the shadow of some giant flowers maybe here at the edges. they should blend in a little bit more, and then maybe a little bit of brown. Maybe I just leave it. I'm afraid that I will destroy everything. Yeah, okay, I think I will just stop here, cause yeah, I think it doesn't get better with my improvements. I just took again a Distress Spray Stain Iced Spruce and just got this brown paint over here in one. Okay. Yeah, but I think that's okay with all the things I want to add on it later. I think that's fine. And I hope it is also inspiring if I don't know what I'm doing. So maybe you'll just have a laugh. And especially if you're a person who is good at drawing and painting, you're thinking, what is she doing there? It's just a hot mess. But yeah, I think it will work out. Hopefully, maybe. Let's see. Okay, next I want to take again ground espresso and stencil on it. This is just a stencil with some trees. And again, I want to do it while it is not dry, because then you see my ink is bleeding in a little bit more. And that's what I like, especially for this project. Maybe let's have this big tree again over here. Okay. Yeah, that worked. This one. In this case, I just have to be a little bit more careful to align the stencil. Maybe, yeah, over here at the edge. Okay, it is mostly on my table, but okay. But I like it. It is a nice effect. Yeah, that's okay. Maybe more tinier ones. Okay, but I want to stop here, I think. Okay, so with the trees it is looking a little bit more like a forest, right? Now we're coming to our mushrooms. This one might be a little bit too much. I thought this one might be cool for a fantasy forest like. Let's see. Or this one. I think I just like it. Yeah. And it adds just a little bit of color. Not a little bit, it adds a lot of color. But that's great for a fantasy forest, right? Maybe like this, like this. Yeah, like this, I think. Okay, okay. Maybe this one on top. Is it too much? I think so. Only this one. Okay, guys, I I get stuck here with my decisions a little bit. I think I will come up with an idea and then we'll come back, because otherwise you will see me forever to shuffle around my mushrooms. Okay, I made my decision, I think. And now I'm afraid to move anything, so I will take my glue stick and just glue it down like this. So I don't have to glue it down finally, it is just for, yeah, not, sorry, I can't speak, guys. It is just for not moving it around anymore. Oh, help. See? Okay. See how well that worked? Help. Okay, and over here. So it looks a little bit more like a, I don't know, stones and mushrooms maybe. Let's see, a little bit of here. Okay, I think I can touch it later. A little bit of glue there. And here. Well, that didn't work out as I planned. Okay, underneath here, this, and then this. And then I will just cut off all the excess. So I just took a few of my mushrooms that might blend in a little bit, and then the ones that I cut out as my like giant fantasy mushrooms. Okay, now the only thing that I have to do is turn it around and then cut off everything that sticks out. I see. I have to glue it down better on the edge here. Yeah, I think I like it. It is a lot, I think, but I like it. I mean, these are giant mushrooms in a fantasy forest, so I think they should pop out. Okay. See, it doesn't stick down very well. I need just more glue. Because the watercolor paper, of course, soaks up all of the moisture, a lot of the moisture. Okay. Okay, now I really want to let it dry completely before I move on to the next step. So while I'm waiting for my forest to dry, I just thinned down a little bit of an acrylic paint with water and now want to draw my outline. Now I want to have a little bit of paint on here. I know that's a watercolor brush, but yeah. But that's the thinnest one I have, so but to be honest, I have thinner ones, but I couldn't find them, so I just took this one. What I'm doing, I just want to draw a outline around our couple here so they pop out a bit more from the background and won't get lost in the background. Okay guys, so that's what I will do the next couple of minutes, and then I will be back with the end result. Okay, this outline is not perfect at all, but yeah, since I didn't have any markers to do it, I am fine with it, but I think it did really help to let our couple pop out from the background a little bit. I also just sprayed a little bit of water on the paper and inked all around the edges, and had also the same bleeding effect that I had on this piece of paper. And now this has to dry a little bit, and this is still not dry, but I thought a few butterflies here and there might be nice on here. What do you think? Maybe here? Maybe this one here and this one here? No, this one was perfect over here. Maybe these butterflies are thinking, no, these are flowers. Over here, maybe the last one. These are just some die cuts that I did, I think, years before. This super tiny one. No, that's too much. Here maybe? Maybe one of them is just flying around. Also a possibility, right? These tiny decisions take me forever. I think I might leave it like that. Maybe no one's flying around. Everyone is sitting down. Yeah. You're just adding a little something. Yeah, this one. I think I like him here better. The tiniest one. Boop. Okay. I think get this on here, but I don't want to spray it. I think that would be just no. Yeah, I just didn't want to have these blobs, but now it is what it is. We'll be fine, I think. I hope. Let's try it like that. This brush. And I just sprayed this Distress Spritz crushed olive on my palette. Thinned it down with water. Yeah, that's more what I like. Okay, let's stop it here. I decided not to back this one, so now you can see how it looks. It is a little bit shiny, these spritz. Yeah, but I think I was too impatient. I had to let it dry, but it is what it is now. I decided to not cover it with another paper or another piece of paper. I want to create a writing spot by using some acrylic paint. I already tried that a few times on book pages, and that worked just great. And for that I will just use my acrylic paint and a brayer and go over it, because that was way too much paint. And that works really fine. If it's dry, you can really write on it. So I think that might be a nice idea. I also like this, like a torn effect a little bit. Let's do it a little bit more. And then going over with another layer of some paint. Again, just trying things and see how it will work. Yeah, but I like this look, I think. It is not so completely even and flat now. So what I think it's enough. Enough is enough. Oh, hopefully I didn't do anything to the back. No, it is great. See? No paint over here, so now I have to be really, really patient and just let it dry. Okay guys, I am back and I made a decision. In my mind, this would fit together a bit better. But since I see it now, it doesn't work for me, at least. These colors are not matching with those, and so I will leave it as two different projects, I decided. So you might have two variations or two ideas for like a fantasy or fantasy forest theme. So here we have the real forest with our giant mushrooms growing in this forest. And here we have our couple of clabouters. For me, it doesn't really match, so I will keep them separate. But if you came up with a project that is more matchy-matchy, I would just take a strip of a book page and just hinge them together. So that's everything I want to do. This one is still not completely dry, but you can maybe see this more like a, this texture that is more like stone, maybe. I like it like that, and I think that matches better than to just bake it with a piece of paper, and fits better with my forest theme to have these this more like an uneven surface. So so this is my idea for ABC April 2026. This is my idea for a fantasy forest, or my, let's say, two ideas now for a fantasy forest. I have to be honest, I like how it looks. I love both versions. I like this couple and I like this fantasy forest with my mushrooms and the butterflies. And yeah, it also got me out of my comfort zone in a few ways, and I just tried out a few new things and I'm happy how it turned out. So hope you will have a lot of inspiration right now. Maybe you want to be also part of ABC April, so you can do every day another letter and come up with your ideas. And yeah, maybe you can also hop over to Seven Plaza and Crafty by Tony. They also do beautiful, great things. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, maybe give me a like. And if you want to see more ideas and maybe a few struggles like that, yeah, just subscribe. And besides that, I wish you a crafty day. Hope to see you soon. Bye!